Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Sunday morning, the first Sunday in the new year. Well, with us today is former Brigadier General John Teichert, also known as Dragon. And he was the Assistant Deputy Undersecretary of the Air Force, and he was with Space Command for a while. And, well, General, tell us, what would you like to talk to about in the new year?
John, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your listeners. And I love the fact, as we've been paying attention to world events during the last week and a half, that national security and international affairs does not slow down. And maybe the thing that strikes me the most is that you got a worldwide scoop on the United States striking Venezuela that even several days later, the New York Times and CNN and all of those others are trying to catch up to. But the president gave it to you on the impromptu radio program from last Friday. And I think it's just amazing that that worldwide scoop came through John Katz.
Well, he called me to wish me a Merry Christmas. It was the day after Christmas, and I was on the air live on WABC. And I said, Mr. President, I'm live in the studio. Would you like to talk to 1 million people? He said, oh, no, okay, I'll do that. And that's how it happened.
Well, I think it's just amazing that, you know, if you think about what has happened between that time, your call from the president was sandwiched between the strike against Venezuela on that Wednesday before, the day before the strike on ISIS in Nigeria, and then the days to follow, he had meetings with Zelensky and Netanyahu in Mar-a-Lago. And I just think it's amazing that that massively important worldwide event of the first U.S. strike against Venezuela was announced on that show in an impromptu way.
Well, you know, he works 7 days a week. And I mean, he probably has, sometimes he has 2 or 3 events a day that he has a press conference. So I've never seen a president work harder than President Donald J. Trump.
Well, I know that you all had a brief conversation on that radio interview about who worked harder and who worked smarter, him or you. Now, I'm going to give him the edge on this one, John, no offense. But you're right. I mean, throughout the holidays, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, he is working hard for the benefit of the American people in the United States of America.
Well, I will tell you, I mean, we know each other a long time, and you know, I think he learned a lot from his first presidency in 2017 to 2021, and where he got to now. He learned all the mistakes. He learned about how deep the swamp was, and right now he has one of the best presidencies of any president we ever had.
Well, John, I just think it's amazing at how much activity has gotten accomplished in the last year as compared to the previous 4 years where President Biden didn't even want to talk to anybody, and I don't exactly know if he was all there. But just in this last week and a half, like we've talked about, there was big news on Ukraine and Russia. There was big news on Venezuela. There was big news after that meeting with Netanyahu. I just think it's amazing how he is working very hard to make sure that U.S. interests are accomplished all around the world, and he never stops.
Never stops. No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, you've been in the military for how many years?
28 years I served and then retired 3 years ago.
And in 28 years, have you seen any president work so hard?
No, John, I haven't. And here's the thing that just warms my heart as a former member of the military and as someone that is a dad of a military member right now, is that the recruiting numbers into the military are through the roof because the president is focusing on U.S. strength, pride in the warfighting ethos, lethality and readiness. Those are all things that people come into the military for. We didn't see it emphasized in the previous 4 years, and now we're seeing record recruitment and record retention because we have a president that is demonstrating American strength, and everyone wants to be part of an organization where you have pride in your ability to accomplish the mission, and that's the way military members feel now.
Understood, and you're 110% right, because we were trying. I mean, we were going into the wrong direction in our military. Instead of being so-called killers, where our military should be, we were creating dainty people.
You're right, and we were distracted from the mission. I was in Iraq during the transition from Trump 1 to Biden, and those Iranian-aligned groups in Iraq were salivating at the idea of American weakness under Biden. They saw it for the last 4 years, and now we're seeing a focus on the mission, a focus on U.S. strength. And even that press conference earlier this week with Netanyahu, when the question was asked about Iran, that the president very quickly pivoted back to those B-2 bombers that took out those Iranian nuclear sites and our willingness to do it again if necessary. That's the type of demonstration of strength and credibility of strength that makes America and the world safer, not because we're dainty, not because we're weak, but because we're strong and the world knows it.
You're absolutely correct. Anything else you want to tell the American people on the first Sunday of 2026?
John, I'm super excited for a very prosperous new year for the United States of America, and I know the president is actually just getting started. He's got 3 more years, and I'm excited to see how American strength and interests are going to grow during these next 3.
Well, General John Teichert, thank you for your service. Thank you for all the great things you did for America, and we're proud of you. And someday you're going to tell me how you got your nickname, Dragon Teichert.
John, someday, but in the meanwhile, I'm just honored to be your friend. Thanks for having me on.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.